Do you know what's funny? We haven't started the thing yet, but do you know what's funny? Uh, I think a really good question that Rebecca, I went, I went speed dating this weekend.
Rachel told me, she said you were excited to tell us stories about it or
Yeah,
something.
I went speed dating this weekend, and I was trying to figure funny questions. And hey, push your laptop up so we can see your face
Oh,
on the
like
screen.
angle it.
Yeah, there you go. And and one of the questions that Rebecca came up with was really good. It was, what's a controversial topic that you can't say in public
I didn't hear the part you just said. That you can't say
yeah,
in public, but what?
that you can't say in public because you're afraid you'll get canceled?
Just your stance on a topic?
Yeah, like what
Or just
controversial topic
topic?
do you have?
Yeah.
Like saying, I don't
Oh.
know, I don't like we have a ton of those that we can't say, but
I mean, there's plenty that I have in my mind, but I mean,
yeah.
I'm not really interested in the back and forth with people because I feel like you have to know somebody well enough to know that they have your like they actually
Right.
are interested in hearing your opinions and
Yeah,
hearing where you're coming from.
totally. Yeah.
And I feel like I'm
So,
pretty forgiving of like, okay, I can understand why somebody could feel that way. And I don't think I'm any righter than them because they feel that way. Like people come to conclusions on their own. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like some people just assume that they're
yeah.
right because they have a certain feeling about something and that other people
Yeah.
that don't agree with that are wrong. But it's like, there's probably a reason you came to that conclusion.
Yeah.
And I think it's more
For
important to understand
sure.
why people think the way they think than to just say, like, I'm more
Yeah.
interested in understanding how you get to that conclusion
Yeah.
and what your influences are.
Yeah. Are you ready to start?
Did you wish you would have said that on the podcast? So did you have? So wait, you came with questions?
Hell yeah.
I
But
don't
the
know how
one that I
speed.
use,
Do
the
they
one that I
usually have like a
use the
template or
most.
like a standard thing for
Oh,
speed dating, or they just have
Ryan,
the basic format? Like,
Ryan, I can't tell you this without telling Rachel too. It was so fucking bad, but also amazing all at the same time. Like, I I have to paint a picture and we don't have enough time.
all right, we'll just have to hear it this weekend.
Yeah. On Sunday.
Yes. All right.
We'll probably go to the Inferno room or something.
Yeah. Inferno.
Yeah.
All right. When do you want to? Do you want to start on the minute mark here?
Oh, let me test. Test, test, test.
I did
Okay, we're
not
good.
test. I should probably test. Hold on. Test, test, test. I want a new computer. Let's make sure this works. Yeah, I wonder how this will work because I'm in the dining room, so there's not like any cushion to like soften the
It'll be
sounds and
fine.
shit. But we're good. We'll figure it out.
It'll be fine. Okay,
All
you
right.
want to start on
30.
40? 30? 30's fine with me.
30.
Okay. You ready? Ready? You ready? Hi.
Hey.
I feel like recently you've been like pausing longer before you're like, hey.
Because I'm trying to like think of something clever, but I don't think of it beforehand. So I'm like, what's something different?
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you do the same thing all the time, like we have these work, they call them like daily stand-ups where you get together for 15 minutes and just
Mm-hmm.
talk about what you're doing. And we have to go
Yeah.
through everybody. And usually we always start at the top of the list, but I'm like, I was leading it today because somebody was out, and I was like, let's start at the bottom of the list. Fuck it. Like, let's mix it up here.
Let's be wild. Let's be
Let's
fucking wild.
fuck alphabetical order. Let's go from the bottom up.
Let's go from the middle. What?
I'm just gonna randomly call on people. No, then I would lose track of who I talked to and who I didn't.
Oh, we're live.
We're live.
We're live. Hi.
Hi.
Oh wait, I have a question. I wasn't listening to you earlier. Are you on a new computer?
Oh, I'm on my work computer
Oh, okay.
because Rachel is on the desktop, which is downstairs.
Right, because you haven't bought her a new computer yet, even though she's
No,
worth
that is
so
on the
much.
list. Is on the
She's worth
list.
like a $5,000 MacBook Pro. That woman.
$5,000? My desktop doesn't even cost $5,000.
Your wife is worth a $5,000 computer. I'm not saying you should get her one,
No
but I'm
comment.
saying that's what she's worth.
I mean, she's worth it, but I'm not gonna buy a $5,000 computer for her. That's like saying my grandfather needs like a $2,000 computer.
Yeah. Get that man a 2001 iPad mini. I don't even think they had iPad
I was gonna
minis
say
in 2001.
2001. That's pretty old. I don't think they had iPads until probably 2008 or 2010 or something.
That was one of those moments where you think that it's like 2010, but it's actually not, you know? Like,
Yeah,
I was
I'm
way
feeling
off the mark.
I'm feeling older and older. Whenever you have to tell somebody how long you've been doing pottery, I'm like, I started in 2007, and since I bridged, like, almost got past that 15-year mark, I'm like, holy shit. Like, that's a long fucking time, you know?
Yeah, pretty soon between the two of us we'll have 30 years experience.
Oh my gosh. What the hell?
I love it when people do that. I think we actually did that on our website because I thought it was funny. Like between the two of us, we have over 40 years of experience. Okay, Janet, like actually how many years do you have?
It's
Like
like this one person's been doing it for 30 and this person's a fucking noob over here. Been doing it
yeah.
for 5 or something.
Yeah, it's like come on.
And half of that time has been like in school during high school or college where
Right,
you're only getting
exactly.
half years, you know, like half part-time,
Yeah.
or you're just
Fuck
doing it for
that.
fun here and there. Like you can't consider that full years, you know.
Oh man.
That's when I always throw
Yeah.
in there like, and I've been selling since 2016. I feel like that's the more valid year that
Mhm.
matters.
Yeah, I always say that I've owned my business for 8 years,
Yeah.
which is true. If
Doesn't
you
sound
don't,
crazy when you think of like how many years you were making before you even started a business or started selling. It's like
yeah,
so long. 2007 to
yeah,
2016. Like, did it really take 9 years to just make stuff? Like, what took so long? But like, you're right in the thick of doing a bunch of stuff at that time of your life. So
yeah, yeah. It's true. It's kind of crazy. Like I don't know. It's just, oof. Time, man. Time is crazy.
oh yeah,
How are you?
I'm doing all right. I was telling you before this, I did not get time in the studio today, so I'm feeling a little like I got that itch, you know. I got that itch to be in the studio,
Yeah,
and I don't have the time for it. Because I did. We packed some orders and stuff after work, and then I had a Clay Alliance meeting, so I had to do that for a couple hours, and then I got back, ate some stuff, and then we're chatting with you. So
yeah,
yeah, it's kind of odd that I don't get a day during the week in the studio even for an hour or two, but that'll be all right. I'll get to it tomorrow. I had a good throwing session last night. I threw a bunch of spoon rests. I was even I was recording some because sometimes I get I've recorded videos of me throwing spoon rests and stuff before. So I decided to
yeah.
do a quick recording of me like blindfolding myself and throwing them.
Oh gosh.
So I
Okay.
threw a couple blindfolded. I mean that's like the most simple item that I throw. So it's like, so
Right.
we'll see if it gets a little social media pop, and then if it does, then maybe I'll be like, all right, what else do you want me to throw blindfolded and see how I do, you know?
Yeah. Are you getting paid for reels?
No, Not yet. We'll see if
They
they
didn't ask you?
offer it. No.
Why didn't they ask me?
Why didn't they ask you?
No,
I
why
don't.
did they ask me and not you?
Oh, they did. They asked me on Facebook, but like reels are still in their infancy on Facebook, so I don't know why they asked me there and not on Instagram.
Huh.
Did they ask you on Instagram?
Yeah.
Wow. Are you gonna do it, or did you do it?
I mean, they asked me like 4 months ago.
Oh.
Yeah, and like I did it actually because I couldn't figure out how to actually get paid. Like I have like $500 just sitting, like that
What?
they're supposed to give me. Yeah, and
I mean, it
they
was kind of
paid
a bitch to fill out the payment account because I did that initially when they first started doing those incentive bonuses for Instagram, like Instagram lives,
lives.
because they were like go
Yeah.
live for 15 minutes and then it was like do a dual cast and then like turn badges
Hmm.
on. And I think I got like maybe $200 from that, or like 250 or something.
Nice. Yeah. So, I could not figure out how to like set up my payment account because I think that when they asked me if I would do the bonuses for the reels, I like went through half of the payment thing and then was like, fuck it. I think this is fucking dumb. And so
Mm-hmm.
um I was like, I'll do it later. And then I could never find it. And I was like texting or messaging Kurt today, being like, how do you do this? I can't find it.
It's not
And
super
so I
easy
like,
either. Like when they send you those invites to
no,
do reels, like you cannot search that in your like settings.
it's
Like
so
they send
fucking
you a
hard to find.
one time invite and then you're like, how the hell do I find this after the
Yeah,
fact?
it's so hard to find. And so then I finally like signed up, but I found something. I found the like where it was telling me to get badges for lives and stuff, and then
Yep.
I signed up for my account. So it's all set. But we'll see if they send me actual money. That'd be fucking great. Um
Yeah.
it's like $10 per 1,000 views.
Wow. That's sweet
That's
because
a fucking ton of money.
I don't think, yeah, they didn't invite me. I don't know why, but I mean, the only way you're really getting a pop these days on Instagram is to post reels. So
Yeah.
your other stuff just doesn't get viewed enough if you just
Yeah.
post images. So,
I finally listened to you and Kurt's episode. It was good.
oh, you did? Nice.
Yeah.
Did you learn
Yeah.
anything new, or you kind of knew a lot of that?
I feel like I knew most of it. But it was
Yeah.
interesting hearing him talking about the reels, so I'm glad that you guys got to that. Um,
Yeah, people making crazy money on that.
oh yeah, you can make so much money. And it does make me like want to try, but at the same time, I'm like, ugh. But then like if I actually tried and made like, like what he said, like his first month, he made like $4,000. If I made $3,000, I wouldn't have to even like do an update.
Hmm.
Like, that'd be freaking nice.
Yeah. I mean, I could see you, and we kind of mentioned this a little before, but like some of your posts where you're like unapologetically yourself and you're not gonna like censor yourself at all with like what you're gonna be real with people exactly how you feel about stuff. So
Yeah.
like I feel like if you do that in reels, like you could come across and like get an audience of people that like it because it's just like there's these random people that have these like sound bites where they say random shit and they get shared so
Yeah.
much that like they get a pop. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was trying to think of like little things to talk about because that's what I used to do on TikTok where I would just like throw a bowl and I would do a voiceover and just be like, this is what I think about this. This is dumb and this is dumb. This is like, blah 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 blah. You know?
Are you gonna do the tool thing? Is that where you're gonna do the tool thing? Like
Oh, I'm
critiquing
for sure
tools?
doing the tool thing.
Oh,
Make it better Friday.
that will get shared for sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about why this tool sucks.
Did you see
No.
did you see it in Sika that the Giffin group has a new mini Giffin group?
Yeah, Rebecca was supposed to get one. They were gonna send her one and then they didn't apparently.
It looks kind of
Also,
sweet,
did
but
you see how much it is?
no. What's the original price on it? I don't know what
I
original
think
one
the
costs.
original is like 250.
Okay, what's the new one cost?
You want to guess?
I'm gonna guess 200.
Yes. How fucking ridiculous is that? I'm sorry. No.
I mean, it's really just a convenience thing because, right? The other one's just obnoxious because it's so big that you can't even catch scraps. The whole reason it's smaller so you can catch the scraps, right?
Well, and also it goes so tiny that you can actually trim small things now. Like the
Okay.
regular one will only trim like up to like 2 inches or
Okay.
something.
I mean, I feel like
But
they let the height the need build so high because I'm sure those issues with the old Giffin grip have been around for so long and there's no alternatives really. Like
no.
Giffin grip alternatives that are comparable with
I mean,
like holding things in
there's
place.
Giffin grip alternatives, but they're not as,
They're not, yeah.
popular. And it's the
So
same thing.
like they let the demand grow so high that it's like, okay, this new thing came out, which was like obvious that you needed something that just went in the bat pins from the start. And they probably
Yeah.
had the Giffin grip has probably been around for what, like at least 10 years, right? Probably longer than that. Probably 20 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like there's some old ones that have been around.
Let's see. The Giffin grip was invented in the late 1970s
Oh my
by
gosh.
by production potter Brian Giffin. He could tap to center with the best of them, but he was getting tired of those little clay wads drying out, sending his prize work flying off the wheel.
70s. Wow. Okay, I was way off.
Wow.
Try adding
Yep.
the 10 and the 20 and then add some more.
1978.
Yeah, I mean, did it really need to
You're
take that
telling me
long to
that
put them
we've
in bat
had,
pins?
I swear to all that is holy, that this, I hate pottery. Now, and I'll tell you why. I hate the pottery, like, business community. Like, why the fuck are we stuck in 1978? Like, I'll bet you that Giffin grip is not any different than it was in
Yeah, they
1978.
probably improved the pads or something that go against, like they go in the pens or some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've only used the Giffin grip at Baker Hunt, but I have almost zero experience using a Giffin grip. But the old versions that I've seen they had there, and then the newer versions, they don't really look any different.
They're exactly the same.
And it just seems super clunky.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it is because it's such a small business that they don't like have the resources to R&D these new things. I don't know. I mean,
Maybe
you
it
would
is
think getting
different. I don't
200,
know.
maybe you think getting $250 a pop for Giffin grips, there'd be money in there to R&D, you know?
Yeah, it was it what was I gonna say? It's the 10th model.
Wow. I'm not surprised it's $200 though. I mean, what other? Like I said, there's no other Giffin grip alternative that is that close in like function.
Yeah.
Because like
And you know
a
what?
padded thing is not really the same. You'd have
Yeah.
to have like a padded chuck that's soft that would really be comparable. But even then, like it's got
Yeah.
to be attached to something. So
I on the pictures from Ensika, I saw that somebody had the Giffin Grip Mini on a Shimpo Aspire.
really,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. I wonder if there's like an attachment or something. Like you put the Shimpo Aspire on there, and then it's got another bat on top of it that matches the bat pins of a regular wheel or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe they could have just put them on the alternate side and made the bat pin smaller.
Or
But
maybe the pins are adjustable, so you can move them in and out.
that would be kind of cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's for version 25 or something that's coming out. That'll be like model 25.
Model 20. Yeah, it'll be in a new special color, blue.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
true. They'll start adding colored versions.
Colored versions that'll be $25 extra.
25 costs more for color than that. It'd be like $50 extra.
$50 extra for color. We're never getting sponsored from
I literally never use a Giffin grip, and I fucking hate trimming. You think I'm gonna get a Giffin grip sponsor?
I
You
mean, we're
probably would
just
like
not
them
going to
for
get
sanding.
sponsored by anybody.
Do you think is there a thing on the market for like a chuck, like a male chuck that you could put your things on that's like adjustable? Is that like a thing?
Do you know what they need? Do you know what they actually need? Bear was telling me about. I don't know. I don't know the answer for that.
I don't know if that's the right term. I don't know if a chuck is the right term for that, but like you see where people trim mugs on top of like a lump of clay.
That's a chuck, yeah.
That's still a chuck? Okay. Even though it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that would work for like a Giffin grip alternative, kind of.
Do you know what would be really fucking cool is if there was some sort of chuck that had a vacuum in it and you could just vacuum it straight onto it and it didn't move. So Bear was telling me about his woodworking tools, and there's like a chuck that they have that rotates. Sorry, it rotates and it vacuums it so it like will not move. And like,
yeah, you'd have to figure out a way to do that with the wheel head. I mean, I think
you could figure it out.
I mean, you'd have to have like a hole in the wheel head, right?
I don't know.
Otherwise, you'd have to have something going off of the wheel.
I don't know how to do it. I just know that it should be done. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, like the chuck thing. If you could have something that's expandable that would like hold it in place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, remember when I bought that butt plug to try and
somebody clip that. Wheel talk. Remember when I bought that remember when I bought that butt plug?
Remember? So I bought that like inflates. God knows why you need that, but I bought it to
no judgment, Becca. Come on.
No judgment. I bought it to put the fancy cups on. Yeah, so I could sand them, and it didn't work because it suctioned to the wheel, and it didn't work. But
it's too like the butt floppy plug is, or like how did it was it actually like did it actually stay in place? Because from what I remember, it looked like it was like moving around, right?
Yeah, like tipped around a little bit, which was not good. So anyway, the butt plug is in the trash, but I kept the little inflatable thingy, like the it like had the air pump.
It's kind of like the thing you get at the doctor when they like pump your arm up.
Yeah. That you pump up your little arm thingy with, the blood pressure thing. So yeah. That wasn't a winner.
Yeah. I remember you had some stories or something like, do you know what this is? Any guesses?
Any guesses? Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, man. What's going on with you? I don't even know if we got to that yet, but...
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Anything new?
So I've been watching movies while I'm throwing. I don't know why I'm just like in that mode of life now. And yesterday I watched Ocean's 11. Today I watched Ocean's 12. And I'm on to Ocean's 13. I was watching it before here. And you know what is like the most pure moments is when Brad Pitt and what's his bucket?
George Clooney?
Yep. Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
What's his bucket? What does that mean?
I couldn't remember his name.
Instead of saying what's his face, you say what's his bucket?
I guess.
Never heard that.
Well, I'm sorry. Anyway, when there's always like a scene in the movies where they just like sit on a couch. Like in Ocean's 12, they just sit in the couch because like Danny Ocean like woke up way early and had like 5 espressos, so they're sitting on the couch in their bathrobes with like wine, watching French Happy Days. And they're just like, it's like just this pure moment, you know? And then like he pours the bottle and it doesn't hit the glass and just goes on the floor. And then like in Ocean's 13, Danny's watching watching Oprah and he's crying and he answers the door and they're just like both watching Oprah as she gives away a house to this mom with like 12 different beds and like all these things, and they're both like just tearing up in front of this show. And it's just like I love how they have in Oceans 11, 12 and 13 like the bromance between Danny and Rusty is just prime. It's so good.
Love it.
And it
I don't
yeah.
remember those parts, but I've seen 11 semi recently, but not the other ones.
I love the Oceans movies. And I did like Oceans 8, but it obviously wasn't as good.
Didn't see it.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's how I'm doing.
Okay.
And
did you watch episode 2 of Drive to Survive?
Yeah.
Okay. I was a little underwhelmed with that episode, honestly.
Yeah, it was just about what's his face, Danny Ricardo.
Daniel Ricciardo. Yeah, I feel like they're trying to sell something with like this rivalry or this like feel sorry for Danny Ricciardo. Like, I don't know. It didn't really hit anything for me.
He just sucked. He just sucked this season. Like, get over with it. It's fine. Like, pay him a little less money.
Yeah, and then they're trying to keep it all secretive that like Lando got this contract, but they won't say how long it's for and how much it's for. And that's like, and then him and Carlos on his old teammates like got this little bromance still going on, even though they're not teammates anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, I
think that Daniel Ricardo, like, he sounds like he's one of those people that like, I don't know. He just doesn't look like he gets along with everybody because he's so competitive. It's not because he's not a nice human, but he's just so competitive that he's like, I don't have time for you.
See, I feel like his attitude is kind of like, I don't really see him as like cocky. I feel like he's got kind of a like, he doesn't give a fuck sort of.
Yeah, I definitely think he has that attitude.
But he's like all smiles a lot though too.
Yeah, but they're fake smiles. You can fucking tell.
And he's just goofy.
Yeah. He is kind of goofy, but you can tell a lot of those are fake smiles.
Yeah. He's all right though. I liked him at the beginning. I feel like he was like one of the standout characters in the the beginning.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, that's our Drive to Survive episode 2 recap.
So for everybody and nobody that knows what's going on. Anyway, Becca and Ryan are nerds.
You didn't even did you watch the race this weekend?
No, I don't watch the race. The only thing I do is watch the show.
All right. Well, we'll see you next season then.
I don't even have internet. How am I going to watch the race?
That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Oh, yes. What are we doing? We're going to answer a few questions. We think they'll take up most of the episode. So it'll probably be like a shortish episode today. I don't even know how many minutes we're already in. We're already in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
It'll be good.
We talked like pottery a little.
Hey, there's a couple people out there that aren't going to like it, but I feel like the majority are going to appreciate that.
Yeah, if anybody has a Giffin Grip Mini, you should tell us what is the good and bad qualities of it because we want to know. So, our first question. What are your thoughts on self-disclosing on a pottery-specific Instagram? Specifically, I identify as queer. Oh, that's okay to share. Good, because I already shared it. And I'm I'm struggling with whether or not that's something I should include on my business profile. I am proud to be starting a queer-owned small business, but I'm also hesitant to pigeonhole myself. My gut instinct is to screw the people that don't want my queer goods, but is this maybe something more appropriate for a personal profile? No perfect answer, I'm sure, but would love to hear you guys think through it. Could apply more generally, just with extent of sharing personal details, etc. Thank you. Your podcast has been so instrumental in the leap towards selling my pots. That's Black Rainbow Pottery.
And I'm pulling up their Instagram right now, just in case.
Sweet. Oh yeah, I should look too. I think that you already are saying that you're a queer-owned business in your name, Black Rainbow Pottery. And
she's fairly new. It looks like she's got about 20 posts. So right now her bio says
cute,
ceramic artist based out of Fort Collins, Colorado, obsessed with making planners, mugs, and home decor, blackrainbowpottery.com. I don't think that necessarily means anything, honestly. I don't think
that's true.
Says anything. I mean, black rainbow could be anything, you know?
Well, look, it's black rainbows. Upside down rainbows.
Yeah, one of the mugs.
You're from Fort Collins. I'm from Loveland. How exciting. Let's see. I think that obviously I'll just jump in.
Yeah, do what you want here, and I'll come back a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, I followed you just now. I think that it is absolutely up to you whether you want, however you want to run your own business. I do think that, like, you should figure out what you want to share, like, boundaries wise. I know that me and Ryan and I both don't share as much personal stuff as I think that most people think we do. You know, we are, especially me, you share your cats.
People know I love my cats and I make noises when I talk to them, and
that's about it.
It's funny. Yeah, people know that I love my cats.
And I share my cats and then random baking things. So I think that it's yeah, it's definitely up to you. Now what I will say is that my best friend is gay and he has made it a point to make his business about his gayness, which is, and his queerness, which is great. And you know, I don't think that he's pigeonholed himself, but he has kind of made a statement saying like, this is who I am. You know, if you don't like it, fuck you. I don't care. And this is my business. And he is very successful. And if you want to look him up, it's That's So Andrew. It's on Instagram. But yeah, it's just, you know, I think that there's benefits to both, you know, benefits to kind of not sharing who you are, but also there's benefits to sharing who you are. And, you know, it's like more recently I have been like, I don't fucking care what anybody thinks and I'm just doing what I want. And that's benefited me far greater than me kind of being like, oh, I'll just do what everybody else wants. Because when you do what everybody else wants and like what is socially acceptable, quote unquote, you kind of lose
yourself and like your uniqueness.
Yeah.
Like what makes you authentically yourself and like unique.
Yeah.
Not and that you have to put everything about yourself to say this is everything of who I am, but like if it's important to you, I think that's what you're saying. Like just, you know.
Yeah, and like, you know, because Andrew is really good with, you know, how things look and marketing and stuff like that. He would always, you know, be like, you have to do it this way, Becca, and you have to care and you have to like set up your booth this way. And I always did, and I always didn't sell well because I wasn't in it, you know.
It wasn't you, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't me. Like, I'm fucking crazy. And like, if you let me set up my own booth the way I want to set it up, it's going to be completely different than most people, but it'll be something that people gravitate towards because I'm weird, you know? And
when they talk to you, would they expect to see like a nicely crafted booth with like pro panels and like
Yeah, no.
perfectly manicured stuff. Not the pieces, but like the perfectly manicured booth that's all thought out and everything perfect. Like, would that match your personality when they talk to you and why they would buy from you?
Right. That wouldn't matter, you know? And so I think that obviously you can do whatever you want, but I think that you being a queer human being makes you you, and um and you just need to be yourself. And you don't have I don't think that you have to, if you don't feel comfortable, you can just say, "Hey, I'm queer." That's it. Like
Mm-hmm.
cool. But you don't have it doesn't have to define your brand, but it should define you. That's what I think.
Yeah. You're saying like don't make it the focal point if that's not what you want your focus to be.
Right. If you don't want to pigeonhole yourself, don't make your brand the focal point, but you can talk about yourself as a queer human being. And um yeah.
Do you think there's I feel like these days do you think there's more pressure on people that are queer or gay, bisexual, that
I
they
don't
should be more proud to represent themselves in that fashion and not like shy away from sharing that?
Yeah,
Because
I think there's a fair amount of pressure, and I think it's unfair. I also think that there's a you're in like a club almost, you know. I mean, it sets you apart for sure. Um if you focus your business on that, you know.
mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's abnormal to have a queer person, or LGBTQ person running a business. That's completely normal. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I would like I tend to uh the whole like you mentioned, like this is who I am and fuck off if you don't support that and like don't buy from me. I feel like I'm more reluctant to be like putting this thing out there, and if you don't like it, don't be my customer. Like that kind of stuff is like kind of
Yeah.
shies me away from that. Just like seeing other people portray that, whether I like their
Oh,
stuff
for
or don't
sure.
like their stuff, like if they are specifically calling out people to say don't be my customer because you think this way, or you not
Yeah.
necessarily like you don't support who I am as a person, but like you don't like this thing, so get away from me, or
Yeah.
like saying I don't want to associate and I don't want your money.
Yeah. That's a good point. And I personally would never be like, fuck you, get away. Like, if you don't believe what I believe, don't buy from me. Um, like, you can go to hell. I would never do that. And I mean, I think that Crazy Linda is an extremely good example of that. Um,
Is that a
who was
account? Who is it? I don't
No,
know
that
who
was
that.
my best customer in Washington, and
Oh,
she is crazy, and she
oh,
is
she's crazy, Linda.
she's crazy Linda. At the very beginning, we did not get along, but then we worked it out, and she, she's I'm not putting myself in a political position. I don't lean really far one way or really far the other way. She is really far on the right. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like Trump, um, QAnon, like flat earth, all the things, right?
Okay.
Potentially flat earth. We don't know for sure. But we've heard it once.
Not
Anyway,
outside
but
the realm potentially.
yeah, and if I had said, I don't believe in anything that you do, and you don't accept, the beliefs that I have, I would have missed out on an extremely important part of my life and my business. And even though she believes something completely different than me, she still brought value to my business. She was wonderful and super nice. Even though she's fucking nuts, like she's
Mm-hmm.
crazy and she would talk about crazy things, you know, it didn't matter because like we could have discussions and disagree, but we had a respect for each other. And I think that is, you know, if you don't open yourself, if you do close yourself off to a customer set, it that is what pigeonholes you. It's not saying, I don't think that necessarily saying like I'm gay or I'm queer or, you know, pigeonholes you. I think that saying, like you said, I'm gay and fuck you, like if you don't agree with me, that's what pigeonholes you.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I feel like it's people buy stuff for a lot of different reasons. Like for me as a customer, especially if it's pottery, like a lot of people buy because they just really like the look of something or they really like the person. And you know, they could say like I really like what you're standing for and what you support, but also like I really just love your personality, or you know, you're local to me and I like to support you because you're local. You know, I'm feeding my local businesses, my local economy. You know, I feel like it's a little bit too much to expect that all customers or a lot of people should put in their, like, if you go to a booth and you say I support XYZ, this is my list of what I support, what I believe in. Do you think that's realistic to say like this is what I believe in? If you believe in this, then you can buy from me. If you don't, then like keep walking.
Get out. Yeah.
Like,
and I would, and let's be clear, we definitely do not think that you're going to do this.
no, I'm just, that's the kind of things that
Black
put me
Rainbow
off
Pottery.
as
We just,
like seeing people do that kind of thing, and I'm like,
and just by the way that you wrote your question, I think that you are extremely intelligent and probably already know the answer. But and we can't answer it for you. It's just kind of like what we're, you know, our views on it. But I definitely think that it's not as much about, you know, it's not as much about your customers knowing who you are. It's more about you being available for everybody.
And just being yourself and being a human with people. Like you said, you can be a human with that person that you don't agree with and just, you know, have some valuable conversation.
Yeah. I always say, and I know a ton of people would disagree with me on this, but you know, I always like shy away from boycotting any company. And I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with maybe the basis of the company's standards, but they still employ the people that I agree, like they still employ people, you know, and the people that they employ have all sorts of beliefs. And
they employ the people, they probably support their local city. Like even if they're a big entity, like that city is probably really successful because that company is there. If that company wasn't there, what is that city missing, you know?
Yeah. You know, and like, and so I think that there's a lot more, obviously me and Ryan and I, now it's just like ingrained in me to say me and Ryan. Also, I want to say, pause, I want to say that we looked up if me and Ryan is grammatically incorrect, and it is not. It is just rude. So, on brand.
That's very Becca then. It's just rude.
on brand. Grammatically, it has nothing to do with being incorrect. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a really hard question, but I don't think that you saying like, "Hey, you know, I'm a queer person, like hear me roar," is totally bad at all. I think you definitely should. I mean, it's who you are. You know? We want to know who you are. And that's what who you are.
Who are you? Good old CSI.
Who are you? Like I think it's more important just to get on fucking stories and show your face and tell people who you are, and like and like be active. That's the reason we became popular, is because Ryan shows everybody what he makes every night. And I show people my cats. So I mean,
What
yeah.
about that? Hi, nice to meet you. Should she do that? Hi, nice to meet you. I haven't seen you around. I've seen some new faces around here.
Oh,
Here's
please
who I am.
don't.
Those are cringe. Do it if you like. I don't know.
Cringe. Hi. I've seen a lot of new faces around here. I just thought I'd introduce myself.
We just pissed off some people there.
I don't care. Please don't cancel us. We're not cancel worthy. We've said nothing bad today. We're not even worthy of being canceled.
Thanks for that question, Black Rainbow Pottery.
Yeah. Also, we really like I like your stuff. I think it's cute. And you look like a cute human as well. I'm not gay, but I think you're a cute human. I think that
Yeah, keep the posts rolling. I'm not sure how long she's been. Let's see. Her first post was December 2021, so she's still fresh.
you're so fresh. Get on it. And you
I mean,
already have
that's
100 and something followers. That's a lot for a couple months.
and that's I mean that's good that you're asking those kind of questions too. Of like, what? Yeah, I mean it is a pottery account, so you're kind of figuring out what you want to share and what you don't, and
Yeah.
whatnot.
I say be casual about it. Just throw it out there. It's like how I just randomly be like, I don't know, just in like natural conversation or something. Like, so it's not some big ado. It's just like, oh yeah. Like, cool.
She went
See
to
my rainbow
Bogota
flag
and
behind me?
Colombia.
Ooh,
Nice. All right.
cool.
What do we got next? We got another question, I think, that's going
We
to
do.
spark some discussion.
I'm excited for this.
It's another going to you. I'll read it.
I feel like you contributed to this question really well, and you thought that you weren't going to contribute a
No,
lot.
I didn't want to be silent. I just wanted you to say your piece, and then I can roll from there.
Yeah, but you had more important things to say than I did, I think.
I don't think so. But
well, we can talk about who's better all day long, but
stop sniffing each other's farts. Like, let's just keep moving. All right. Okay. This question came from Alexa. It says Michelle, but I think it's Michelle Potter. Mitchell Pottery.
No, it's Mitchell.
But it's
Alexa Mitchell.
LLE.
So?
Okay, the Mitchell I've seen doesn't
Maybe
have an
it's
E
like French or something. Maybe there's
Alexa Michelle Pottery. Hey, I have a topic idea for the podcast if Becca is comfortable, which, after religiously listening to you guys, I'm sure she would be. You are. I recently got diagnosed with ADHD, and after Instagram stalking my pot swap partner, I see they have ADHD too, and have heard Becca say that as well. I would love to hear your take on dealing with deadlines and running a business. I think lots of creative people have it, so it might resonate.
Agreed.
Thanks, Alexa.
Yeah, a ton of people have ADHD or something neurodiverse about them that makes deadlines or anything like that a little bit more difficult. I think that you're neurodiverse.
What does neurodiverse mean?
I don't want to butcher it, so I'm going to look up. Neurodiverse. Neurodivergent meaning. Okay. It is an adjective. It's differing in mental or neurological function from what is considered typical or normal, frequently used with reference to autistic spectrum disorders, not neurotypical.
Okay, I didn't find their Instagram account, so I'm not sure if I wrote it right.
Oh.
Maybe they changed their account name.
Maybe.
I don't know. Okay.
I found
You
it.
say you say oh you did? You
Yeah,
say you
I'll
think
share
I'm
it with you.
neurodivergent? How so?
I think you have a little bit in you. For sure. I don't think that you're like ADHD or anything like that, but you have little quirks about you that would
Are you being
that
very
would
particular about certain things being done a certain way?
yeah. Yeah, and like, you know, the fact that you can focus so incredibly might mean that like you're a hyper focuser, you know? So, yeah.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not a professional by any means, but I think you might be a little bit.
Hmm.
I could be wrong.
I have
I
no
often
idea.
am.
So
But I for sure am ADHD and potentially and possibly autistic, but I don't know. I don't want
so
to say that
does
to
ADHD all because it's what does ADHD stand for?
attention deficit hyperactive disorder.
Okay. Are
I
they
think
always together?
that's what it used
Like
to stand for.
attention deficit is kind of like part of it, and then hyperactive is like part of it too, or are they all? I feel like
No,
wouldn't some people be
ADHD
more, or is like I feel like hyperactivity is like overly, I don't know.
stimulated.
Yeah, and then
It
the
can be like
attention
so
deficit is like focus
right.
or
So when I was younger, I was diagnosed with ADD, just attention deficit disorder, and not the hyperactive part because I'm not super hyper. Like I don't have that energy part to me. Um, and then recently, I don't know when, and I like I said, I haven't done the research into this, but recently I believe they took out. They basically were like, "There's no ADD. It's just all ADHD." like, like it's just that's the
or
way it
it's
is.
like it's not treated differently
Right. It's not
or
treated differently. It's all the same. It's all in the same category. And
gotcha.
so basically, but there's a lot of different ways to like approach it. So it's like some people they can get super super hyper focused on things and then some people just don't have any focus at all. So like I'm one of those people that will completely mid sentence just completely change the topic and not realize what I was talking about before. And I'm very forgetful. I depression is linked with it. So, and anxiety is also linked with it, I believe. And I like am like an organized mess. Um I've found in my as I get older, like I used to be super messy when I was younger, and as I got older, I've found like a way that works for me. But it's just like there's this one meme about this guy like cleaning his room or something, I don't know. But when you like clean your room and you like start and you like find something and then that leads you to something else and then that leads you to something else and you never actually clean anything, you just like keep moving from room to room to room. Like I will do that all day long.
Yeah. You're like
Like
following
and
breadcrumbs or something and
basically, yeah.
you
You're like,
lose
"Oh my
track
god,
of
I
where you
remember
came
this from
from.
5th grade." Yeah. Yeah, so and but I've had to learn kind of the hard way to like wrangle all of my stuff together,
Mhm.
I guess. I was on medication until I was in college, and then in college I like went on and off medication, and then I stopped taking medication after college because I figured I didn't need it. Um, I learned, because I was like on and off of it, and because of my parents, I have had to learn how to do things. You know, um, it was kind of like ride or die situation. Basically, it's like you
Yeah.
you have to figure this out, or else you're not going to be able to function. And so I've got pretty good coping skills for what some people don't have. So in
Because you
regards,
can Because you're aware of it
Yeah,
happening,
I
or
mean, yeah, I'm an extremely
situations where you're
aware
more
human.
conducive.
Yeah, 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 and I'm like an extremely aware human. Like when I, for instance, when I started working for Rebecca, it was I made it very clear that I was not going to be working out in the middle. So, like the way our studio is set up is that Dusty and Sarah had wheels like out in the middle of this huge room. And now Sarah and Merritt sit right next to each other and they work together. And then the trimmer's there and everything is happening all around in this area. It's like a big open space. There's glazing and trimming
Mm-hmm.
and wheel throwing and stuff. And I said, that is not going to happen. That will not work for me. I am sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cannot and will not work in like that space. And thankfully Rebecca is fully aware of this because she knows who I am. But so my wheel is literally set up with my face facing a wall, and that was completely on purpose. I wanted to face the corner, um like the corner of the room, and Rebecca said I couldn't because we had to put a shelf there.
Mm-hmm.
um but
That's crucial wall space. You can't face a corner.
crucial wall space, yeah, like I wanted to face the corner, and also feng shui doesn't work for that, and I was like, oh well.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck feng shui. um but so now, and so I was initially set up on this wall, and then there was no wall to the left of me. So it was kind of like at a diagonal. And so I could still see out.
Oh,
And then we had to put a whiteboard like sideways so that I
peripheral
have a little
vision. Oh
overhang.
no.
Yeah, so I have a little overhang so I don't see anybody. I
Yeah.
cannot see anybody when I'm working. Like even when I see a shadow behind me, I turn my head because I get so distracted. And
Right.
so I think that those are the type of things that you have to know about yourself, like how you're going to set up your studio space. If your wheel is facing out, maybe you want to face it towards a wall. You know, don't have a fucking mirror on your wheel. Like those are the type of things that would totally throw me off
Mm-hmm.
as somebody with ADHD. And like even when I was in my studio in Monroe, remember I put it in the very back,
Yeah,
like
you
I
had
made
this
my own
little
little
like
studio,
hallway
and
closet
it was
thing.
it was 6 feet wide and 20 feet long, and I faced the wall. And
Right.
if people
Even in
came
that big
in,
space, you're like,
yeah,
I know that there's not much peripheral vision here within that 6 feet, but even so,
yeah, yeah. So that was really important. Another thing that really helps me is I have to have noise canceling headphones. Um, and they have to be in my ear. These I don't think would work because they're easy to flip off,
yeah.
so they have to be like in my ear, and and like whatever I'm listening to or whatever I'm doing, like I do it in sets. So like today I threw 120 6-ounce bowls. I did it in sets of 60. The first set I did with music, the second set I did it with a movie. And it has to be like timed appropriately, and you know like I won't, because we were actually like we'll listen, I think last week probably was the Liz Cohen episode, I'm hoping, when this comes out,
Mm-hmm.
and we talk about how I deal with like Instagram and stuff. Like that's the type of stuff, like I have to make sure that I don't touch my phone at all, because if I touch my phone, then I won't put it back down for like 25 minutes. If I get up and leave my space, like
You can
I've
forget about
thrown
it. You're not coming back for like,
no. No, if I get up and leave my space, it will be an hour before I get back to
mhm.
throw,
Yeah.
without question. I completely lose track of time, and I talk to everybody, and I just completely, it's gone. That's why I spend so much fucking time at work. It's not because I'm spending time working.
Yeah.
Like half of it is me just futzing around because I can't like control myself. If I was actually on medication, I can't even imagine.
I wonder if that's
Wow.
why, like, I wonder if part of the reason for like back in the day when cubicle life was like such a thing, I wonder if that's just an intentional way to also just give people an amount of space that is their own, but also like block out focus issues.
Oh, for sure.
Because like the physical space that you're in definitely has a way to narrow the focus on what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I have issues with like sitting here. I'm sitting at the dining room table, and
Yeah.
there is windows there. There's doors here. There's the stairwell over here. Like, there's so many things going on. But like during the workday, I can't just have headphones on my head. Like, I usually don't do that throughout the whole day because I like the ambient noise of music
Yeah.
and whatever. And I just don't like have things like straight on my head. I don't like on my ears and stuff. Like, it just gets hot and
Yeah.
whatever. Um, but yeah, I can see the narrowing the focus in.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you can even wear a watch like the Apple Watch. I'm surprised you can even do that because intentionally never got an Apple Watch because I wanted to remove the notifications out of my life as much as possible. If it's on my wrist,
Yeah.
I cannot eliminate that.
So the reason that I actually have the Apple Watch is that I'll usually put my phone like somewhere where I can't see it.
Right.
And if somebody texts me, it'll tell me in my ears, like in my
Oh, fuck
AirPod.
that.
Well, Siri will be like, Ryan texted you. Hey, do you want to do a podcast tonight? And so then I don't have to answer you. Like,
But it interrupts what you're doing to tell you exactly what came through in the moment.
no, it doesn't. I mean, it just tells me, and then I just go on with throwing, you know?
Okay.
And then with the watch, first of all, I like having the time on my wrist. That's one thing. I actually like it as a watch.
Okay.
Second thing, I like having a watch. Second thing is that same thing. If somebody does notify me, I can look at the watch and I can be like, oh, that's not important. I don't need to answer that now. I'll
Mm-hmm.
answer it when I'm done with my 60 minutes. So
Right.
it doesn't, and I have no notifications except for text on. Like
Okay.
Instagram doesn't notify me.
That's good. And I'm guessing the watch has certain settings that you can say, like, I'll take certain notifications on my phone and certain notifications
Right.
on my watch. I want to like filter down the ones on the watch so it's not so
Yeah.
aggravating.
Yeah, I think you can do that. So
Okay.
yeah,
That's good.
that's like pretty important to me. But yeah, I'll get fucking completely distracted on the phone for
Yeah.
sure.
I would. Yeah. I mean, I have to definitely do not disturb, like work mode or whatever. But some stuff, I don't know. I think we talk about it some at work because we context switch a lot. But there was some science that one person mentioned that it was like as you context switch, it takes 15 minutes to get in the zone of what you're
Can you
doing.
explain what that is?
Context switch is just, let's say you're coming off a meeting and you've got to get back to doing work. You can't just switch right back into work and you're exactly where you left off before you
Mm-hmm.
started that meeting. Let's say you have a meeting at 11 o'clock, you get done at noon, but you're working on a task right up till 11 o'clock when that meeting started. You can't just cold turkey, go to a meeting, come back from a meeting at noon, and then go right back to exactly where you left off, and your brain is in that exact same space of where you
Mm,
left it. It takes usually
okay.
10 to 15 minutes to get back to that state until you're kind of like in the zone again, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
like I have things that come up randomly throughout the day. Like, I could probably break my day down into like, okay, I've got meetings at this time, and then I know that I'm gonna get some tea at this time. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom
Mm-hmm.
around this time before the meeting. If I have 15 minutes before a meeting, what am I actually gonna get accomplished in 15 minutes? Besides like checking emails. And then if I have
Yeah.
an hour or 30 minutes between meetings, I can't get work done in 30 minutes. Like if that context
Mm-hmm.
switch is 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like I can't really get deep into something because I'm going to have to go to another meeting. So, and then it's like, okay, I got to eat. That's going to take 45 minutes. And then I got another meeting at 3 o'clock. So it's like, your day is really broken down to like 2 or 3 hours of actual work time that's alone that you can
Yeah.
actually focus on something when you're dealing
Yeah.
with all these other things. So, um, yeah, I'm sure it's similar with, working in the studio and stuff. You got
Yeah.
lunchtime, you got, whatever else. I mean, if you go to the bathroom and you come back, can you just go right back to it and you're right back into it? I mean, maybe.
Usually, yes, but I try to go to the restroom between. So that's another thing too. It's like I found that scheduling your time really helps, just like you said, you know. I don't necessarily schedule time, but I schedule blocks. So I cannot work before lunch and after lunch. That is not something that I personally am good at. If I go to
Hmm.
work at 10 a.m., I will leave at the exact same time if I got to work at 2. There is no question in my mind. I will stay there until 6 o'clock. If I get there at 10 or if I get there at 2, I might probably will stay there till 6 o'clock.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't matter. So, yeah, so I have to do like blocks. So in the first 60 pieces that I do, and then I wait and then I go to the bathroom after in my break, in my like little break
Right.
time. Um what I also do is I make sure to look at my clock or watch or whatever. This is what I've been working on recently. If I take a break, like let's say I stopped throwing my 60 pieces at 4 o'clock, and I will say, okay, at 4:15, I have to be working. So I will give myself as much freedom to do whatever I want until 4:15, and then I have to work. You know.
Hmm.
So these are just basic things too that I'm sure everybody does, but the difference is that a lot of people do these just naturally.
Hmm.
I have to really, really work hard to get to them. Um, and I guess that's the difference.
Yeah.
That sometimes I don't understand either. That like, some people this just like comes naturally to them. um,
Yeah, I don't
but
know. I think like a lot of people can. Do you think it's intentional for people to like narrow their to-do list? Because like I don't know, maybe I just feel overwhelmed with to-do lists all the time that I feel like I'm constantly losing time because of all the context switching of like
yeah,
answering an email that will take me like 10 minutes to answer because it actually requires some attention. It's
yeah,
not a quick reply. It's like something I need to do for 5 minutes, and then I need to like send somebody something that's actually been prepared, or contact a customer or something that requires me to do some work with some focus for a few minutes. It's not a quick 2-minute reply.
right.
And I have like 10 of those sitting in my inbox that require a period of time, a chunk of my time that is the time to actually get it done, as well as the time lost getting back to where I was or getting into like the
Before.
groove. So,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like, oh, you can't just like schedule a tax meeting. It's like, yeah, I need to do that. But it's like, first, I need to organize myself so that I'm prepared when I do schedule it, that I'm going to
Yeah.
have everything I need before I go there. Because I'm not just going to show up and not be prepared, because then you have another meeting with them and then you're wasting their time.
Yeah. Okay, here's a question. I'm curious to see how you respond to this. So, um, or how you would respond to a situation like this. So, like my landlord at my personal studio talked to me and he was like, "Hey, I need you to get liability insurance for the room." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine. I can do that." And I think that this is an anxiety thing, maybe that's like paired with maybe the ADHD thing. But what happens when I'm like nervous about doing something or like maybe just don't want to do something, I'll like put it off forever, like for like an
Yeah.
unreasonable amount of time. And it like it's so hard for me. It's so hard for me just to like call an insurance person when it's like the easiest fucking thing to
Oh
do.
gosh. Yeah, I mean, the insurance thing for sure, because there's so many questions of like, they're going to come back with you and say, what's the value of all your contents of your studio? Like, what the fuck does that involve? How am I going
See,
to line item
that's
what my studio's worth? Like,
see,
that's
and
what would,
I don't
because I
even
know I'm
think
going to get
about
follow
those
up. I
questions.
know I'm going to get follow up questions that's going to require me to do more work. So I'm like, I'm putting off the initial step because I know that means I'm going to have even more work that I don't even know about yet. That's what I
Oh,
get
see,
flustered about.
okay, yeah, that is not what I think at all. I'm like,
I
I
mean,
just don't want to call them.
there's some stuff, like there's one thing that's been on my to-do list for fucking ever. Like there was this customer that reached out about wanting like 12 mugs, and they were very specific of like what types of styles. And it's like, it's styles that I already make. It's just they want a specific glaze combo. And I've had these 2 mugs sitting that are finished that have this glaze combo, and I never got back to them because I literally last contacted them 6 months ago.
Oh
And I'm
God.
like, what is that first email back to say, hey, I know it's been 6 months, but I got these 2 to show you. Are you happy with these 2? And if so, I got a whole gamut of other ones that I could just glaze for you. Like, I am so scared to send that email because they're going to be like, what the fuck happened? Or maybe they just forgot about me completely and they're like moved on.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Yeah, that's
are they
like
going to
that
just
place
say,
setting.
I don't want to do any business with you because you literally took 6 months to get back to me? But like,
Yeah.
is it reasonable to say like I got a lot of other things going on and you weren't priority in my mind? But
No,
I'm not
you
gonna
just
say that.
email
But
back and you say, I am so sorry that I've been a jerk and haven't emailed you. I have these mugs.
yeah, that is the most dreadful email that I have right now. That I'm like it, and I keep a little sheet there that say like this person's name, contact them, and I know I know I'm gonna take a photo of the 2 things and I'm gonna show them a stack of bisque ones that are like ready to go. Like, okay,
You take the photo, Brian, you take the photo and this weekend we'll draft the email. I will draft it with you.
all right.
It'll be fine. I've done plenty of these because
And
I've
then I'm
forgotten to do
like,
plenty of
oh my god. So like stuff like
I
that
it's
is what just those unread emails that I know require
yeah.
some effort. Like, and, but also like I could be putting way too much weight on this. Like they could have completely forgot and be like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Like I forgot about it. I'm just happy that you got back to me." You know?
That's likely the thing. Like I told Adriana, who needs a place setting from me, and she's wanted a place setting since 2019, I think.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. See, we think they're like it's like looming in the back of their head, like they never fulfilled their. But they haven't paid me anything, so maybe I shouldn't feel so bad about it. We just had
Yeah,
some
she
emails,
has
like
a
3 or 4 emails back and forth. Like maybe I shouldn't feel so bad, but I do because it's something that I
yeah.
could semi committed to that I never fulfilled.
Yeah. Mm. Okay, let's talk about this is a good segue. Let's talk about business and like how to handle that. So, I think the biggest thing when you're doing a business and you have something like ADHD or like anxiety or anything like that, the biggest thing is to figure out what your weaknesses are and hire them out. That's the that's the biggest thing.
What would be an example of that is higher outable?
For me, it was I would never do my books on time. So I hired a bookkeeper. And it's not that I can't do the books. I can. I can do my books just fine. It's just that I never wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So I hired it out and she did them for me every month and it was great and I paid her $120 every month or something like that, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And for me it was worth it because I had a store and I had a lot of things, a lot of different avenues. So it was worth it for me. But it's important to like figure out what you're not good at and also um make sure that you I don't want to say warn your customers. That's definitely don't do that because then they lose hope in you. But make sure you have everything that you need to know ahead of time. Like let's say you have a wholesale order, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So let's say you have a wholesale order. Ryan from RD Plant Works has ordered 50 planters from you. This is totally hypothetical, clearly. Okay, he's ordered 50 planters from you, 10 of each color, 5 different colors in the same size. You need to know what date they want it by. You need to confirm those colors and confirm everything. And that date is solid. Okay. And if it's not solid, then don't set a fucking date.
Solid on
Like,
your
just,
side and meeting their
yeah,
expectations. Don't just say you'll do the date because that's what they need it by.
yeah.
Like,
Like,
make sure it's within your
yeah,
wheelhouse to actually do it. Don't
yeah.
say, I
Make
think
sure
I
it's in your
can do it.
wheelhouse to do it. Yeah. And just, like he says, I need them by the end of October. Okay. I will get them done and I will get them to you by October 25th. And then
Mhm.
you say that in an email on paper, on some sort of written down form, and you make sure you stick to that. And then what I would always do is plan out um sorry. Okay, sorry. Those the
Is that
the cops.
the ADHD or?
No, the cops were like going by and I saw the lights. Anyway, so make sure uh like I would always have a month calendar view and like kind of just sketch out quickly like your timeline so that you can kind of get things done in order. That always helped me and I also what was helpful for me is having a list that is revolving. So I don't do a phone list. Uh, one thing that you should know if you do have ADHD is that if you can't see it, it's not there. So like the vegetables in my
Is that per
refrigerator that are
person though?
most people, the vegetables like in my refrigerator, if I can't see them, like if they're in the drawer, I will completely forget that they are there.
Ooh,
100%.
that's the way that I hide candy from Rachel in the fridge.
Yeah. So I will completely
If
forget that
soda,
they are there.
that soda's down on the bottom
And
shelf. She doesn't know it's there, but I know it's there.
right, and they will 150% go bad. So I always have to put my vegetables out on the shelf. Like everything has to be on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Um so if you put your stuff in your phone, if you're not looking at that every day, then it really is not helpful to you. So I would always have a yellow notepad and write down my list and leave it on the counter.
Yeah.
Just leave it in plain sight so that I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got to go see and check it every single day." And that way you have like a mental list in your head of what you need to do,
I'm
you
sure
know?
that jogs your memory too if you get stuck and you're like, okay, I have a free mind space. What do I need to focus on? Like, I don't
Yeah.
have a guiding North Star to focus on. So it's like, or like I tend to do that digitally with my week priorities for work. It's like, there's probably a
Mhm.
number of things, but like, what is the most important thing that I need to focus on?
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm going to get off there because I'm going to answer these emails that people ask things about that are not on that list that I can't plan for. But if I'm like, okay, I got a good 3 hours to work, what's on my priority list that I might be forgetting about that I need to spend some time on?
Yeah. Also, let's see, reminders on your phone is really good. I have to remind myself to take medication every single morning. Um, I remind myself to edit the podcast every Friday. And it like pops up.
Does the medication, like, could the medication be easier if it's just literally on your sink, like by your
It
toothbrush
is.
every single morning? You still have to have a reminder. You wouldn't, just seeing it next to your toothbrush is not enough.
Doesn't help.
Okay.
Yeah, reminders are really important and like routines are super important too. So,
Definitely.
yeah, routines are extremely important and like rituals, and I don't say rituals in the sense of like woo, like those type of rituals. I'm I'm talking about like washing your hair the same in the shower every morning. Like if I, if I like accidentally
Mm-hmm.
mess up my shower routine, my whole fucking day, I know my whole fucking day is going to be off. But like, so those type
I don't
of
know how you
rituals
could
and
mess up your shower routine though. Like it's so like muscle memory.
you would think.
I don't know. I mean, maybe when you do something different with your hair and you need to treat it differently.
Like today, so normally my shower routine is you get in, I wash my face. No, I get
You
in,
also only wash your hair certain days too, right? So I'm sure your
yeah.
routines change.
So I get in, I wash my hair. Well, when I wash my hair, like I wash my hair, I wash my face. No, I brush my teeth, I wash my face. I brush my teeth in the shower. I'm sorry if that's weird. So I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I put conditioner on my hair, and then I rinse the conditioner off, and then I wash my body. Okay, so this morning I started soaping up my loofah thingy before I put conditioner in my hair, and it was
Oh,
like,
because you have to have conditioner in for a certain period of time, right? And then you're just waiting.
yeah, yeah.
Oh. See, I'm a
But
2-in-1
anyway,
basic bitch, so like I
well,
don't.
yeah, because you have like hair that's an inch long, like.
I'm a body, hair, face. That's my routine.
Oh God, I use that. My dad uses that when I was at their house. Like I
No,
was
no, no.
taking a
That's not the soap I have. I'm saying I wash my body with a bar of soap, and then I do the 2-in-1 hair, and then I do my face
to your face.
with the whatever the. It's kind of like the cleaning clear with a little dimple stuff in it.
Is it the orange one?
It's not apricot scrub, but it's the clearish orange
Yeah,
with
the orange with the blue. It's
yeah,
the clean and clear.
kind of
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
an apricot scrub fan too. I like that too.
Uh, oh man, I just like thinking about how many times I apologized. Like how you were talking about how like you've waited for such a long time. Like how many times have I apologized over an email? I am so sorry this isn't done. Like,
I don't know that I normally apologize. I mean, I probably do at the
uh,
beginning if it's really been long. But I don't make
yeah,
excuses though. I'll say I'm sorry it took so long. I don't like making excuses because I feel like who wants to hear that? But
yeah.
um, I'll probably start off with apology and then I'll get right to it and give them every single thing that I got. Everything that I missed out on that I did not have for them. I want to give them as much as possible
Yeah.
to reduce the amount of back and forth questions because I don't want to put it in to where they're going to put it back in my court and I'm going to have to give them more information. I try to think ahead on a lot of that stuff now, especially with emails because a lot of people don't read emails. So I'm like, any
Yeah.
communication I have, I'm trying to get ahead of it and think about what they could potentially ask me back and answer that up front so that I cut
Yeah.
down the amount of back and forth with them because that's another time suck that's going to take away from other things that I could be doing.
Yeah. For sure. Oof.
I feel like I was going to ask something about the lists. I forgot what it was now. Are you oh, I know what it was. Are you more of a day list person or like a week list person?
I'm a
Does it
day
help
list
a day
person.
list
Wait. No, I'm a that's incorrect. I'm a month list person.
month?
So the
So you're
way
just
I
like
do
here's
my
everything I would like to get accomplished within the month.
yeah, so I'll write well actually okay.
Not everything, but like the really important things that
No,
need to get
everything.
accomplished this month. Oh, everything?
So when I would do my like the pads of paper, like the yellow pads of paper, I would write absolutely every single thing that needed to get done with the most like the closest deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So at the top. So like if it was in January, that would be first, and then February 2nd, and then everything that I knew that I had to do, literally everything that I knew I had to do goes on the paper. And like it's a whole fucking page,
For an
right?
entire month?
And or whatever. Like, no,
You
just
said
for
January,
everything that I have to
February,
do.
so it sounds like you're saying the whole year, but
Basically, but like usually you work in months anyway, especially if you're like production or like doing stuff, right? So
Mhm.
like so I would say, oh, I need to do 50 planters in this color, 20 planters in this color, 20 pots in this color, 50 mugs in this color. Those are due in January, like January 20th. I need to do 40
Mhm.
planters in this color, 50 planters. Those are due February this date. And I would
Yeah.
put those all down. And then once I get them done, I cross them off and then I flip over the page and make a whole fucking new list. And so and then
Okay. As you
it just
finish
keeps adding. So it's like
everything
an
on, you have
yeah.
to finish everything on the page.
No. No, 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 no. No, just like you just start crossing things off and when it looks bad, you just make a whole new list so that it looks less.
Oh,
And then
okay.
it gets added to and then you cross things off and then you make a new list and you just keep crossing things
Do
off and make a new list.
do those things that you carry over from the first list, do they tend to get prioritized? Because I
Yeah,
tend to
everything
cross
on the
things
top.
off and then I will keep persisting things that stay on the list that I don't want to do.
No, the things on the top get done first
Okay. Yeah,
because they have a deadline.
typically when I throw so what I've been doing at the beginning of the year is I have like a big list that I just write like 15 different forms and things that I want to get done.
Mhm.
And then I have a red clay, white clay, and then how many quantity wise I would like that should get me stocked up for the spring before any show happens, whatever, and based on like, wholesale and stuff like that. So I'll keep that master list, but I'm not following it top to bottom. I kind of pull week at a time and like put together a small short list on the week of the forms I want to do and like how many. Not really how many,
Yeah.
but I just put like, speckled cereal bowls and I'll put that on
Mhm.
there. And I usually want to get about 30 to 40 of those things thrown or made if it's like cereal bowls. And then it's like, okay, then I can cross it off. And the things
Yeah.
that happened in the last couple weeks has been making a list and putting in some things that I don't really feel like doing so that every like third thing is something I don't want to do. Like throwing pitchers or something like that. Like I don't like throwing those because they're not as fast and putting the
Yeah.
handles on takes time and whatever and more clay and all that stuff. So it's like I'm not really working top to bottom on that list, but I am slowly working through and adding in some things I don't like doing. Even if I do like 4 pitchers, I'm not going to make like 15 pitchers at once, but I'll make like
Yeah.
4, So that
Yeah.
I think that might have helped me is throwing in some things that you don't really want to do but you need to do. It doesn't help to get your
Yeah.
list finished and you get all the stuff that you really like doing and then all you have is stuff that you don't want to do at the very end.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, you got to do the shit that you hate somewhere in the beginning.
I don't see how people just can't do lists. Like if you don't work off lists, I don't know. I don't understand that mind space.
Well, you see, before I had a job with Amsbury's Painting in Monroe, Washington, I never made a list ever because
Mm-hmm.
it was all in my brain. Like everything was in my brain. Like I am a very internal thinker and and so it's just all up there,
Yeah.
you know? And they always say that once you like start doing lists, like you can't ever go back because it's just like
It seems
now
like it
your
being in
thoughts
your
are just on your
brain would make you a
yeah.
great like short-term solutionist or like understanding what you need to do in the short. It seemed like it would be harder to plan with ample forethought of like something needs to get done within 2 months, but I need to like do it little by little because it's not really a quick 2-day job. It's really like a longer term. Like the end goal is not a quick turnaround. You have to kind of break it
Ryan,
down into small pieces until you get to that final. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
don't know.
I don't do that. I don't break things down. It all happens all at once. Like if I'm going to have 50 pieces, they're going to get thrown in one day, and they're
Okay,
going
I'm
to
not
get glazed
thinking
in one
that.
day.
I'm thinking things like, okay, we need to redo our patio. That is not a 1 day thing or a 2 day
Yeah, but
thing.
it's like a 1 week thing.
It's like hey, what do we actually want to do with our patio? Who do we want to contact? What do we need to do about this thing that's here? Like this is like a one-time job that's going to get done because it's so costly that we need to think through like what we actually want to get done and who do we contact, and is it that time of year that they will actually fit us in? Does it fit with our schedule? All these things. And I'm like, okay, that's the end goal. How do we break this down? Like, what do we need to do first? First, it's to like contact people, right?
Yeah.
With a good plan in mind, or maybe it's just having a plan in mind of what we want, and then
Yeah.
contacting people. Like, it will take forever for us to like contact people if we need something done. Well, it
Yeah.
will me, you know. I don't know. Maybe I just overthink everything. It's like I need to have all of
Absolutely.
these answers before I make the first step, because I don't want to do the first step without having a little bit of knowledge of what I want to come to the table with, you know?
Right. Yeah, I am definitely not that way at all. But especially because I've worked in construction, so I
Not even just construction. I'm
like
just talking in general, but
I know, but I think that that really helps. Like I've worked in like fields that where you literally can't know everything before, and you just have to come to terms with the fact that you just don't know the end result, and that's okay, you know. But it's hard to come to terms with though. Like I've worked in businesses where it was such a fucking shit show that you're just like I I I don't know. And I don't know what's happening and I don't know what's going to happen, and at this point I don't care. like like that's the type, these small businesses that are in way over their heads but have to supply money, like they have to feed families,
you're
like
saying like, how could it
20.
get to this point? But I'm just one cog in that machine, and I just like,
No, it's just like it's just like Amsbury's painting. Jeff Amsbury has to employ 20 different men, and those men all have families, and those men, like, you have to stay in business, but your fucking business is like just crazy, and there's no predictable answer, Like, we're so lucky that we have a predictable system within pottery. And like, there's a lot of businesses that aren't predictable at all. Like,
oh, you're
you
saying
have a
because they rely
schedule
on clients and
and
weather and
weather
yeah.
and yeah, and and like we're so lucky that we are like, yeah, like the only thing that could go wrong is the kiln could fuck up. Like
Well,
like
yeah, I'm
really,
sure there's more variables if you work out of a studio or something and they have their own
right, if you
timelines
work
and
out a
their own
studio.
issues and yeah.
Totally. But if you're working out of your own space, really it's up to you and you alone. And and that's definitely, we're lucky as potters in that regard, because but any small business owner, I see Rebecca struggle with this a lot too, is that you're responsible for so many people, you know. I don't know why we got on this, but you know, like being responsible for people sucks. And that's why owning a business sucks. Um we can end now. No.
That's our conclusion. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My brain is overthinking all the stuff. I want to overthink everything going into it, even if it's not like small business related. It's just like house related. Like I want to have an understanding of what the job entails and what is expected, so
Yeah.
that not that I need to know what they're doing because like I want to make sure they're doing the right work, but like I want to know what it involves so that I understand. I guess like the makeup of it, or like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why it benefits me to know that, but I mean, I know how to, replace a toilet or something, for instance. Like, there were some issues and we ended up like needing a new wax ring on our toilet. But it's like, okay, I understand what the problem was. We ended up getting a plumber, but like it was one of those, like we kept smelling like the smell in the
Yeah.
bathroom, and then it's like, what could that be? And then we're like narrowing it down, and then we ended up getting a plumber to come do it, because it's just like, we're not going to prioritize, like I'm not going to take the toilet up to like realize that that was the issue, even though I understand the issue after the fact. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, like I get it, I've done that in the past, like I get it, but you know,
Yeah.
in the list of priorities of things I want to spend my time doing and what's worth my time, it's like hiring that out was worth it. Because like I'm not a handyman. I could be a handyman if I wanted to. For the money's sake, I can be, but
Yeah. You definitely overthink a lot of things. You're a thinker.
I think it's like I need to be better about understanding what is worth overthinking and what is not worth overthinking,
Yeah.
and figuring out whether it's like I get more benefit and I work more optimally, and like I get more time to do the things I like to do because I don't overthink these things that aren't as important.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a better way to look at it. That's like, this is really going to benefit me in the end to not. It's kind of the thing where it's like, if you do it, you would get 100% of the effort in your mind of like what could be done. But if having
Yeah.
somebody else do it is like 80%, like that's good enough, and it's worth somebody else doing it,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, I just thought of something that's not related at all, but it is related to like ADHD. Well, it kind of is related, but not really. Anyway, what I was gonna say is also I think probably the biggest thing that helped me have a successful business was having Andrew and Bridget. Andrew and Bridget were friends, actually, just generally friends. Is And you, like, there's definitely times where you saw that I was having a really like struggle bus day, like trying to get shit done, and you're like, hey, let's do a live,
Mm.
let's work on stuff. And if you don't have friends that recognize where your weaknesses are, it's hard to get it's hard for them to like understand. It's if they can understand what you need in just in like sometimes I text Rebecca and say, "Hey, I need you to tell me I have to be at work at 9 a.m." Like, I've texted her and been like, I need a reason for me to go somewhere at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's hard to rely on friends, but also it's kind of necessary. I think whenever you own a business, but especially when you own a business and you're doing it on your own, and you might have a slight disadvantage or advantage, depends on how you look at it. But yeah, like Andrew would help me so much he would just sit and talk to me while I was working, or he'd be like, have you done this? Like, or he would come in and be like, okay, what are we going to make in Leavenworth this year? We would go through everything that I was going to do for Leavenworth in a night, and we talk about all the stuff that I needed to do. And that's like, if you can have friends that support you in that way, that'll help you tenfold with anything, but really especially when you have an issue with focusing on things.
Do you have to have that? Is it because they have this deep knowledge of like understanding your business as well, or just knowing
He
you as a
definitely
person to
did.
know
Yeah, he
kind of what you
definitely
need?
did have a deep knowledge of understanding my business, but also just knowing me as a person, knowing that I sometimes like I just need to talk things out and just just,
Throw stuff at a
just
wall and see what sticks, and
yeah.
also like get a sounding board of here's what I'm hearing from that, or here's the thread
Yeah.
it's
And
coming
like
through.
this is what's important from what you just said. And,
Yeah.
um cuz I can be a little crazy too. Like obviously, you know, I've
Mm-hmm.
packed up and moved. Like I've done that. I've packed up and moved a lot. And that comes from that like it's fine. We'll just figure it out later.
Right.
That flightiness, so, yeah. Who said it? Oh, it was my mom. I was talking to my mom on the phone and she's like, I'm really surprised how long you stayed with ceramics. And I was like, Mom, I'm not going to leave. Like, she's still expecting me to be like, okay,
You're
new.
like your child self where you were interested in things and then you stuck with it for a very short time and then you kind of moved on. Is that what
My
she's
child self? You mean my college self? Like,
okay?
you mean my whole life self? Like, did I just tell you last week that I was going to start painting more? Like,
Oh.
I just like need to have things constantly. But yeah, she was like, I'm so surprised that you have, like, I don't know, that you figured it out. And I'm like,
Was that recent that
well,
she said that?
that was this week.
Was it a comment like I'm proud that you stuck with something, or was it like I'm just surprised?
Oh, that's a good question.
Maybe pride isn't the right way to say it, but like, where do you think it was coming from
No.
when she said it?
What were
Or
we
what was the
talking about?
context,
Oh, I was telling her that I was telling her about how I got this deal at Joann's. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to start like trying to paint more. And she goes, honestly, I'm just really surprised that you stuck with pottery this long. That's exactly how she said it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I don't know if it was a compliment or not. That's kind of how my mom is.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. um, but yeah,
I mean,
because
your
I
comments
just,
about the having somebody to soundboard off of, like Andrew or myself or whoever, like I think you'll also kind of need someone that is not just your spouse or your partner
oh
or whoever,
yeah,
because like even us setting aside 2 hours or whatever every week to like, okay, we're going to get together. We may not know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to get together. Something's going to be discussed. We're going to get some little light bulbs. Like even just talking earlier about the whole like overthink, like I would not have had that conversation or had that moment to actually
hmm,
reflect in my own brain about that if I was just like, you know what, we can't meet this week. I got to work in the studio. Like that's the short term, really important thing that needs to happen. But like having that time to actually talk and think through something with
yeah,
somebody that doesn't know you as well as your spouse, but also like there's not as much baked into that conversation
yeah,
that there's other influences that go into conversations you have with a spouse or partner or somebody that
yeah, totally,
you're so integrated with on a daily basis
yeah,
that I don't know. And even like, I mean, even your parent, I'm sure you can get certain tidbits out of that you can talk with them and they're gonna, you know, they're listening in a certain way, or you kind of know what kind of advice you're gonna get from them,
yeah,
or what you're going into that conversation with.
and how you're
You know.
gonna leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and also like
No,
I don't have those conversations a lot. Like I don't.
yeah,
Rachel might talk with her parents once a week. I literally don't talk to my parents for weeks on end because I just
right,
don't like call people on the phone, or
right,
you might text, but if it's like it's more like, hey, I was wondering about this thing, but certain people are
hmm.
different.
Yeah, I mean, like your mom, I know your mom, like having this podcast is like really big for her because now she has something to like talk to you about and like, have that relationship with you. And but yeah, you're right. Like it's interesting that I feel like us talking every week is kind of like it kind of almost replaces therapy in a way. Like it's
I don't
true.
know why
Like,
that's funny, but that's actually really sweet.
well, it's true. But it's like, like how many people just get to have a conversation with their friend for 2.5 hours, like on a regular basis? Like, I don't know very many people that call their friends and have conversations on a regular scheduled basis. And I think that, I mean, really, it's helped both of us in our businesses quite a lot.
Right.
And, um, you know, you don't have to start a podcast, but I think that I would probably recommend, if you do have a friend that is a business person or a, you know, or another potter, like if you can if you can stomach talking to them on the phone like for an hour every week, that's probably going to help you more than anything else, because you can be like, God damn it, this person was so fucking annoying. You know, like you can get out all the things that you would have to keep inside of you,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps you like reset a little
Yeah.
bit, you know?
When
And
you
I
kind
mean,
of want
like,
to vent, it's like, okay, I've got this thing
yeah,
that happened this week that I want to catch you up on. And then you're both kind
yeah,
of thinking about those things. I don't, yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I can't even imagine the last 2 years, like, without like having this constant. Like, this is the only thing that's been constant for like 2.5 years in my
Wow.
life, you know?
And
Yeah,
it
because
doesn't seem
there's
like
been so
that
much
that big of
change.
a it doesn't seem like that huge of a commitment when you're like, okay, we're just going to meet every Wednesday for 2 hours. But I mean, maybe it does sound like a big, but it's like, I think the common thread has been like, I think we've got to this point where we have to have something to deliver, every
Yeah,
Saturday. We're not going to take a Saturday off. We're not going to make excuses. And
yeah,
it's good for us to meet, whether it's good content or not good content. I think the good content's going
yeah,
to come through because we're together talking.
yeah.
And
And
it's like,
fuck you guys if you don't want to listen. No, I'm kidding. I just thought that tied in really well with the first question.
but yeah, just having that consistency of like, you know what, this is really important that we dedicate time to. Like, I can know that on a regular basis every Wednesday we're going to get together, or once a week for 2 hours we're going to get together and
Yeah,
talk.
yeah,
And it's an important part of the week that I know is a standard. um and as much as I'll be like, you know what, I could use some more time in the studio, or like I said earlier, like I didn't get time in the studio, but I know this is going to benefit me more,
yeah.
even if I just got like a little bitty tidbit on a
Mm-hmm.
random day for the 2 hour discussion. Like, you know, just having time to just relax, chat,
Yeah,
um, about whatever topic, and you all bring the topics and you all ask the questions, and we figure out how to make it entertaining and what to talk about that
yeah,
maybe is outside our comfort zone or maybe in our comfort zone, or
yeah. It's definitely a team effort, that's for sure. I
and
don't
there,
think that people really understand that we literally come in and we're like, "So, what do you want to talk about today?" I don't know.
yeah, like
Like,
there's no script here, there's no talking points, there's literally a question. There's two questions on here that we already read, and that's what the whole thing was planned
yeah,
beforehand.
like before I was coming, I was like, "What are we going to talk about?" We used to plan things out. You know, we used to plan things out at least maybe a day ahead of time. And now we don't even plan it out at all. We just get on and we're like, "So, what do you think? What are we going to talk about today?"
Yeah, it's like, what can we get an hour and 15 minutes from? And we're
Yeah,
already pushing an hour and 45. So it's like,
I
this was
know.
a short episode. This is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I remember when we interviewed with Paul Blaze, and and he was like, or maybe it was, I don't know if it was in an interview or one of the conversations that we had, and he was like, "So, how do you guys like find the topics? Like, are you just going to run out of topics?" Because he's like, "Because I
That's
never
what he
run out of
said.
anything."
That was
Yeah,
Paul.
he's like,
Yeah.
I never run out of anything because I
You
have
all are the
guests.
topics. Yeah.
Yeah, the guests are the topics, and we're like, we don't fucking know. like,
I'm
like,
like, that sounds like so much more work. I mean, imagine not that you super over prepare for like guests, but like that's why we interview people that we know and we are friends with, that
yeah,
it makes it easier conversation to where we don't have to super like get
Like
talking points
research.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we do get some research from listeners if we're talking techniques and like kiln stuff or firing stuff that like people need to know about, that this expert or this person has more expertise than we do. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that does, but yeah, when he said, you all are the content, you're generating 2 hours of content every week. That sounds like a lot of work, but it's like, honestly, we got to a point where we can go off the cuff and we can talk about stuff that we don't even
Yeah.
know where it's going to end up. But I'm sure there's going to be something that resonates. I'm sure there's a
Yeah.
lot of this that doesn't resonate with a lot of people, but there could be a little tidbit that resonate with somebody, or this other tidbit that we just
Yeah.
said resonate with somebody,
I know, yeah. A lot of the times, whenever I talk to Josh, because I talk to a lot of people on the phone, whenever I talk to Josh, he's like, yeah, well, I skipped forward through that episode, but when you guys started talking about this, that was fucking hilarious. And like,
Mhm.
I know that a lot of like experienced potters don't listen to us because we talk about a lot of beginner stuff. Some medium. We talk about like beginner to intermediate business stuff, but yeah, at least we're funny.
At least I think I'm funny.
At least I think I'm funny.
Yeah, you're funny. You're all
You're
right.
funny too. Funny looking. God,
Yep.
that's what my mom always used to say to me, and now I'm thinking that might have been a toxic thing.
Funny looking.
Yeah, she's like, "You're funny, funny looking."
That's like dad jokes or something.
uh, oh goodness. Okay, well we should probably go because it's almost midnight.
It's pushing there. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Hope you enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
thanks.
I felt like it was good.
Hmm.
There was an
I
ADHD
think it was
thread through
good.
there.
It was pretty. I feel like the podcast was pretty on par with our topics. Pretty all
Yeah.
over the place.
And we
Pretty
tend
ADHD
to
in itself.
somehow our newest episodes always top our previous ones, because I feel like you always end up saying like that was my favorite one we recorded. There's probably a little recency bias in there afterwards when we
True.
record them, but
Yeah. I like the ones where we just talk about bullshit. But that's because I like talking about bullshit.
I think we're just incrementally getting better and better without like realizing it. Maybe
Maybe.
that's being cocky, but I feel
In
like
August, it'll be 3 years. Is it August 8th?
I mean, we're like 6 months from then, but yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, we're at a year and a half or 2.5 years.
Shit,
Fuck, man.
that's nuts.
We haven't even changed the logo in that long a time. I don't think we will.
I like it. It's like, let's keep it as is.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it. I think didn't you give me a
I gave you the
graphic?
poster.
You gave me the poster. Did the poster include both of us, or was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Yeah, I
was
have the
the
poster rolled
original.
up. I need to hang it, or I need to frame it. I don't know why you
It's
decided.
August 22. August
Okay.
22nd.
I can't believe you gave that to
Yeah.
me. I'm like, really? This is something I will definitely keep and frame and put somewhere.
Yeah, my friends are caricature artists, and they drew that. I sent them a picture of us. I think I sent them both of our pictures.
Hmm.
And it was from the pot swap picture, remember?
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, and they drew us and then sent it to me, and then I made it a digital file. And so, yeah, I have to send that to Isaac. So yeah,
Yeah, we'll be getting
and it's a
those
great.
graphics
You
on
should
something coming
you should
soon.
unroll it and take a picture of the original. It looks really cool. They're so talented.
First, I need to find it.
Yeah, you should probably find it.
I don't think it's in my studio. I think it's down in the basement.
Probably.
I'll find it.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Oof.
That reminds me, I need to upload that demo video to Patreon.
Yeah, I need to send Isaac the digital file
Of the Wheel Talk graphic, I thought. Yeah.
I still haven't sent that. I'll do it right now.
Okay.
Do we have Isaac's email?
Probably. You mean in the Wheel Talk account? I'm sure we do.
Let me do it right now.
I'm just gonna call this ADHD.
Okay. Oh yeah, I should probably save it. What episode is it?
130. I want to say 8, but I don't think it's 8. I think it's 139. I think Liz was 138.
Yeah, that's right. That sounds right.
139. Yeah, I think it'd be overwhelming if we just interviewed people all the time.
That would be so stressful.
Yeah, even just, that time between talking to Liz between like a 2-day span, I was like, ooh, that's pretty quick. But luckily I had a few items in the works, or on my list beforehand. But I feel like my list wasn't really that long, so I'm glad it flowed well. And you asked some good questions to spark some more conversation, like building your studio and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I had been there.
Oh yeah, you've seen it. I don't really know much about her studio at all.
Yeah, so I kind of knew that she. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to find Isaac's email. Okay. Gmail.com. Okay. I feel bad I haven't sent these.
Did he ask you for them a bit ago?
No, I mean
Because I thought, well, I guess Chris probably wouldn't have had the graphic, or maybe we probably sent it to Chris initially, right?
Yeah, we sent that, and I told him I would send it to
Isaac,
and then I forgot.
Oh, Michelle. Okay, it said I put Mitchell in here. Yeah, that makes sense that I typed that wrong. Got a little Mako sandstone glaze in there, it looks like. Alberta.
Mm-mm.
Man, I really love the look of some red clays. Like, I wish I could try a red clay or something.
Yeah.
Actually, I got some red stoneware that I had. I think I got it from somebody that was getting rid of some clay, and they had a bunch of stoneware that I do use, and then they gave me this other stuff that they had. It was like a smooth reddish brown. It turned out pretty nice. But it was through kind of like a B mix, but it was reddish. And I'm like, then I gotta dirty up my wheel and shit.
Oh, that should be good. Okay. Okay. Isaac. Ugh. Mm-mm. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm tired.
Okay, I'm gonna I'll upload this so you have it.
Okay. Yeah, whenever. I'm like ahead 2 weeks, so this is nice.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.